I'm Rafa, head coach of Chess Club Jiu Jitsu. In this instructional video, we're gonna learn the fundamental spins of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. We're gonna cover side control, mount, technical mount, and the back control. Side control, knee on the stomach, knee punch towards the armpit, slide the knee across. I'm on mount. I push his elbow across the center line, transition to my technical mounts. I get my gift wrap, hand goes under, control the wrist, my chest below his shoulder blade. I sit, I pull him on my lap, and then I lean towards his legs. Side control, as the name says, we need to be on the side of our partner and be in a top pin position. The main elements of control that I'm looking for is a head control and a hip control. So let's imagine this. The main structure of the human body is our spine that starts in our head, goes all the way down our spine and finishing our tailbone, which is located inside our hips. So every time I control his head and his hips, I'm gonna have a very good control over his body. It's like holding a stick by both hands, other than holding a stick with two hands closed in the center. Holding on both hands, you're gonna have optimal control. A very important concept is having my center line. A center line is an imaginary line that all of us have that pretty much that in the middle of our heads, go down the center of our body and finish in our tailbone that split our body in half. Okay, my partner has a center line as well. So the side control, I'm crossing my center line with the center line. So the main concept is having my hips over one side of his body and my head to the other side. I don't want to have a side control where my head is on the same side as my hips. Okay, so this is a very important concept. My center line crosses his center line once I have a side control. I want my knee wedging his body here right underneath his armpit. By having my knee under his armpit, I'm avoiding his shoulders to move towards me. My other knee, in this case my right knee, I want to touch on his hips, right here on the near side. So again, I'm avoiding his hips moving towards me. So he can't move anywhere closer to me as I'm wedging his body with my knees, other than having a distance from my partner. So knee touching his hip, my other knee right under his armpit, pretty much controlling his shoulder. My hands, I'm gonna control his head on the near side. Here I'm controlling the end of the lever, and the other hand I'm gonna go under his arm that we call underhook. Okay, so the underhook always on the far side, and I'm gonna have a palm to palm grip. I can either have a palm to palm with my thumb, that's called the gable grip, palm to palm thumbless, or a wrist to wrist grip with the tightest option. Okay, any of those options are good. We can stick to any of those that you feel more comfortable, and obviously according to your partner's body size. Sometimes the guy is too big, you're gonna have to have a gable grip. He's slightly smaller, I can go a little tighter. If he's a small dude, I can even go wrist to wrist on him. Okay, so make sure I'm always having the underhook on the far side. So knee touching his hips, knee touching his armpits, head control on the near side, underhook on the far side, a palm to palm grip right here, and always tight. And I want to actually rest my elbow on the mat. Okay, the side control, I'm not really holding him super tight. I'm wedging his body, avoiding lateral movement. So with my arm on the ground, if Jake tries to move away from me, it's gonna be a difficult thing. My knees are wedging the near side. He tries to move towards me, it's gonna be a difficult thing as well. Okay, so I'm trying to wedge his body to avoid lateral movement. Ideally, I want his back flat on the mat, and I wanna be chest to chest on my partner. Once I lock my control, I just need to be tight. Okay, I don't need to keep squeezing him constantly. I just gonna burn out my energy if I do that. So hold your hands, close your elbows, stay tight to your partner, and here actually you can rest and take your time to move to your next position. One of the common mistakes from side control is changing your hands and doing a head control on the far side and another hook on the near side, and then my partner is able to slide underneath me and take my back. It's like so. Alright, so having this underhook on the far side is what's gonna avoid him taking my back. Try to take my back now, Jake. Alright, so this underhook here is gonna avoid my back being exposed. Other than here, you can just slide his head slide under, and he's right behind me. Okay, move from side control to mount now. Once I have my side control, moving to mount, all I need to do is having my knee over his stomach, and now, very important, I want to move my knee towards his armpit, and then my foot slides to the other side, so I move to this mounted position right here. Okay, just from a different angle, just out the way. So I got head control, underhook on the far side, knees wedging his body, my knee is gonna go over the stomach, and then I want my right knee sliding towards his armpit. And my foot is slides over the hips to the other side to this mounted position. Let's try a different one up. I just had to consider that way. I got my side control. I'm wedging his body, nice and tight. Knee on the stomach and sliding it towards the armpit. Slide to the other side. And then I got this mounted position. Always I want to have my knees on the ground. I never want to be sitting on his stomach like that, or even with one leg up, one leg down. And again, from mounts, I need to be tight, wedging his body with my legs as well. I don't want to have gaps right here where he can start pushing his elbows in and disconstructing my position. Okay, so knees below his armpits, foot wedging his hips. Here I have a good control over his shoulders and his hips as well. Okay, so that's the second thing that we learned today, the mount. Every time I manage to push his elbow across his center line, I start creating back exposure. Okay, so I'm forcing my partner to be on his side. So once my partner is on his side, the standard mounts, it doesn't work as well anymore. I don't have a very good wedge on his body, and eventually he's gonna escape. Okay, so when he's on flat on his back, that's the standard mount that I want. Once my partner is on his side, I want to change for a technical mount. Okay, a knee behind the shoulder, and my foot touching his lower back. And again, always tight, wedging his body. And my front leg, this knee up, and my foot very tight against his hip. Okay, so this is the technical mount. Standard mount, his elbow crosses center line. I want to change for a technical mount, and my technical mount, I'm not facing him anymore. I'm facing the same way as his face. Right, so just for a different angle now. No, yeah. So here, I push his elbow across, and I switch for my technical mount. So no, this is like my knee touches behind his shoulder, and this foot behind his lower back, and I'm sitting in this position, facing the same way as my partner's face. From a different angle again, I push his elbow across. This front foot, I don't want this gap here. I want my heel touching his hip. Okay, this knee up, I'm wedging right behind there. That's my technical mount. If my partner tries to face me again, I go back to mount. If he turns on his side, technical mount. To teach a beginner's class, I like to teach this control here that I go around his head and control his wrist. That's called the gift wrap, okay? I don't necessarily need this, but for the start, when you're first learning Jiu-Jitsu, this is a tool that's gonna help you to transition to his back. So once I get this gift wrap, I have one grip that's controlling his head and his arm across his body. So it's a very superior control if only one grip, and I still have another free hand. So the other free hand, I'm gonna go under his arm through this loophole, hold the wrist, and now I want to glue my chest to his back here. So I don't wanna be up high here, I wanna be very low behind his back. So my chest glue to his shoulder blade. Now to finish the back take from here, all I need to do is sitting down on my butt, just like so, and then I wanna lean sideways towards his legs. Okay, so once I sit, I already pull him over my leg. Now to finish the back take, all I need to do is leaning towards his legs. This way, I have my sit back control, one hook in, all I need to do is insert my second hook. Let's try a different angle. Yeah. So I got mount, I push it up across, I have my technical mount. I'm gonna go behind his head, control his wrist, I get my gift wrap, the other hand's gonna come under his arm and hold my own wrist. Put everything tight in my chest, has to glue on his shoulder blade. Now I sit down and I pull him over my leg, and now I lean towards his legs as I'm gonna end up on his back with my seat belt, with the gift wrap, and both hooks in. This is the back control. First common mistake is actually people have their legs the other way, and you are facing the opposite way than your partner. No, you always wanna be facing the same way as your partner are, okay? Second mistake is having your head way too high, so I don't create much of a upper body connection with my partner. As I sit down, he starts facing me, and he ends up on top. I don't have a back control. Another common mistake, once I have this control, I stay tight, I sit up, I sit down, I pull him up, and then instead of leaning towards the legs, I lean straight back. And then the same thing happens. Once I lean straight back, he turns, and he ends up on top, and then I don't have the back control as well. So the key points here is, first of all, wedging his back, wedging his back with my knee and my foot on his lower back. So when I sit right here behind. Okay, this one, knee, and my shin has to pretty much run along his spine right there. Okay, very tight and not with my knee out that way. Foot on the lower back, knee behind the shoulder. Once I have my sit back control, I want to go very low right here. Okay, I don't want to be tight. I want to have my chest go to his shoulder blade. Now I pull him up over my leg. From this position, all I need to do is lean towards his legs and not backwards. And I end up on the back. Those 4 positions is pretty much the first things that we should learn in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So just putting everything together here, we're gonna transition between all 4 things. So just go back down for me, Jake, please. So this should be actually your first lesson if you're joining Jiu-Jitsu for the first time. I said this is the class number 1 that I teach the beginners in my beginners course. Side control, knee on the stomach, knee points towards the armpit, slide the knee across, I'm on mount. I push his elbow across the center line, transition to my technical mounts. I get my gift wrap, hand goes under, control the wrist, my chest below his shoulder blade. I sit, I pull him on my lap, and then I lean towards his legs. Just from a different angle again. Now, side control, mount, technical mount, gift wrap. I get my seatbelt grip, I sit, I pull him over, and I lean. That way. One more time from a different angle. Now, that way. Side control, mount, technical mounts, gift wrap with the seat belts, sit, bring him up, fall to the side, and now you have a back control. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.